Good morning, grade 6. Welcome back to grade 6 mathematics class. How are you all doing today? We're going to learn a new topic today. It's called estimation. You might have learned the basics of this in your lower grades as well. So what is estimation? It means a rough calculation of the number, the quantity or value or the extent of something. See, suppose someone is asking what is your height. You don't know the exact height. You may say that my height is around 1 meter. You're not giving the exact measurement there, but you are giving an idea, a rough calculation of your height there. Or you are giving an approximate value there. Estimation makes it easy to do calculations in your mind. So what is estimation? Estimation or approximation is a rough calculation of the value, number, quantity or extent of something. And you see, rounding off is one method of approximation or estimation. Now let's see a set of rules that we have to follow to find the estimate by rounding off digits in a number. Let's see the first rule. It says you have to choose the rounding digit and look the digit to its right side. If the digit to this right side of the rounding digit is either 0, 1, 2, 3 or 4. That is, if this digit on the right side of the rounding digit is less than 5, you have to leave the rounding digit as it is and change all the other digits to its right to 0. Here is one example I have given. Round off 243 to the nearest 100. So the number you are given is 243. You are asked to round off this number to the nearest hundreds. So when you are asked like that, the rounding digit is the hundreds digit. So here the rounding digit is 2. The next step is to look at the digit to the right of the rounding digit. Here it is 4. And if this digit is less than 5, that is either 0, 1, 2, 3 or 4. If it is less than 5, you can leave the rounded digit as it is and you have to change all the digits to its right to zeros. So 243 rounded off to the nearest 100 gives you 200. This is the first rule. Now let's see the next one. Rule number 2 says that if the digit on the right side of the rounding digit is either 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9. That is, if it is either 5 or more than 5, you have to increase the rounded digit by 1 and change all the digits to its right to 0. So here is one example we have given. Round off 292 to the nearest 100. So the number here is 292. Since we are asked to round off to the nearest 100, the rounded digit is the hundreds digit, which is 2 in this case. And let's see the digit to the right of it, it is 9, which is more than 5. Hence, we have to increase the rounding digit by 1, which means we have to add 1 to this rounding digit. That is 2 plus 1. So, it becomes 3. Then, change all the digits to its right to zeros. So, here these two digits are changed to zeros. So, 292 rounded off to the nearest 100 will give you 300. Hope this is clear to you. Now, let's see some examples which is given in your textbook itself as solved examples. The first one, give a rough estimate, that is by rounding off to the nearest hundreds, and also a closer estimate, that is by rounding off to the nearest tens for the following. And the first question is 537 plus 115 plus 4795. So one more question here which is about subtraction. See, here you are asked to find out both a rough estimate and a closer estimate. And what do you mean by rough estimate and a closer estimate? See, when you round off digits, you are getting an approximate value, not the actual value, but it will be close to the actual value. When you round it off to the nearest tens, the approximate value is more close to the actual value. And hence, you say that is a closer estimate when you round it off to the nearest tens, and it is a rough estimate when you round it off to the nearest hundreds. So, the first case, the first question, to find out the rough estimate, you have to round off each of these numbers to the nearest hundreds and then find the sum. So, let's round off each of these numbers here. 537 rounded off to the nearest hundreds. And which is the rounding digit here? The hundreds digit. To the right you have 3, which is less than 5. So the rounded digit is left as it is and the digits to its right are changed to zeros to make it 500. Now 115 rounded off to the nearest hundreds. Rounded digit is 1. To the right of it also you have 1, which is less than 5. So the rounded digit is left as it is. The digits to its right are changed to zeros. Now the next number 4795. Here the rounded digit is 7. To its right you have 9, which is more than 5. So you are supposed to increase the rounding digit by 1. That is, you have to add 1 to this 7 to make it 8. And you have to change the digits to its right to zeros. And the thousands digit is written as it is. So 4795 rounded to the nearest hundreds will give you 4800. Now you can add these to get the rough estimate. So the rough estimate or the estimated sum when rounded off to the nearest hundreds is equal to 500 plus 100 plus 4800, and that is equal to 5400. Now let's find out the closer estimate. See, here in this case you are supposed to round off each of these numbers to the nearest tens, which means it will be more close to the actual value. So 537 rounded off to the nearest tens will give you what? See, when you round off to the nearest 10, the rounding digit is the tens digit. Here in this case it is 3. The digit to the right is 7, which is more than 5. So you have to add 1 to the rounding digit. So 3 becomes 4 and to the right it becomes 0. So 537 rounded off to the nearest 10 will give you 540. What about 115? The rounding digit is 1. To the right you have 5. So you are supposed to add 1 to the tens digit, which is the rounding digit. So what it becomes? It becomes 1, 2, 0. To the right of the rounded digit, we have to change the digit to 0. So it becomes 120. Then 4795. Rounded digit is 9. To the right you have 5. So you are supposed to add 1 here, which will give you 4800. Now let's find out the sum. So the closer estimate or the estimated sum when rounded off to the nearest tens is equal to 540 plus 120 plus 4800, which gives you 5460. Now let's see the next case. 18,235 minus 7,567. So this is an example of rounding of numbers in the case of subtraction. So the first number 18,235. We are going to find out the rough estimate. So we are supposed to round it to the nearest hundreds. So 18,235 rounded off to the nearest hundreds will give you 18,200. And 7,567 rounded off to the nearest hundreds give you 7,600. So the estimated difference or the rough estimate here when rounded off to the nearest hundreds is equal to 18,200 minus 7,600, which is equal to 10,600. Now we have to find out the closer estimate as well. For that we need to round off each of the numbers to the nearest tens. So 18,235 rounded off to the nearest tens give you 18,240 and 7,567 rounded off to the nearest tens give you 7,570, and the closer estimate or the estimated difference when rounded off to the nearest tens is equal to 18,240 minus 7,570, and that is equal to 10,670. I hope this case is also clear to you. Now shall we see one more example? Estimate the following. And here this is a multiplication. 97 into 850. So to find out the product, the calculation will be easier if we round off these given numbers to the nearest hundreds. Let's see that 97 into 815. 97 rounded off to the nearest hundreds. You see here there is no hundreds digit. Here the hundreds digit is 0. So to round off 97 to the nearest hundreds, you need to check the digit to the right of the rounded digit. Here since The hundredth digit is 0. To the right of it we have 9, which is more than 5. So we have to add 1 to the rounded digit. Here, like we said, rounded digit is 0. So when you add 1 to that, you get 1 in the hundreds place. Then you have to change the digits to the right of it to zeros. So you get 100 here in this case. So 97 rounded off to the nearest hundreds give you 100. Now 815 rounded off to the nearest hundreds. Rounded digit is 8. To the right you have 1. So rounded digit is left as it is and digits to its right are changed to zeros. Now the estimated product is equal to 100 into 800, which is equal to 80,000. There is one more case given in this question. The second case, 7,748 into 31. Now in this case, can you round off both these numbers to the nearest hundreds? The two-digit number here, see, the rounded digit here will be 0, but to the right of it, you have a digit less than 5. So you cannot add 1 to the digit here to make it a 3-digit number or round it off to the nearest 100. So in this case, rounding off the number to the nearest 100 is not possible. So what can we do? You can round this number off to the nearest tens. So when you round off this 31 to the nearest tens, you will get 30. Now what about the other number, 7,748? You can round this off to the nearest tens, hundreds or even thousands. So when you round it off to the nearest tens, what you get is 7,750. When you round it off to the nearest hundreds, what you get is 7,700. And when you round it off to the nearest thousands, what you get is 8,000. So which one do you think is easier to multiply? 8,000 into 30 or 7,700 into 30 or 7,750 into 30? Obviously, multiplying 8,000 by 30 is easier. So we can round off this number to the nearest thousands for convenience. So that will give you 8,000 here and the estimated product is equal to 8,000 into 30, which gives you 2,40,000 as the estimated product. So I hope this topic is clear to you now. You have to go through this topic estimation through page number 8 and 9 in your textbook. You can see the heading solved examples. We have discussed the questions from solved examples here in this class. There is one more question given as example there. You may go through all the questions once again. So that's all for today, children. We'll meet in the next class. Till then, bye.